Good morning, everybody. It is 9:30 in the morning. I'm already hydrating. It is 82 degrees in the shade. So I came out here about 7. Show you what I did. Had to get my beach umbrella up. Picnic table, whatever you want to call it. Here she is. She's ready to receive the engine. The steering bolted in perfect. You can see that. Lucky for me, my shaft right here, the notch is elongated a little bit, so it gives you adjustment. It must have been an aftermarket one or a replacement one. Instead of having this exact position, I got like a 1/4 inch to move it. And so I moved it down a 1/4 inch down here. After that one set up, re-drilled it. It made this tolerance, it's tight, okay? That's the only way to put it. You can see how tight it is. But hey, it works. That's all that counts. It's got to turn the steering wheel, turn the rack, and not rub the frame, which it is not doing. If you come back and look at an angle here, let me see if I can get it. You can see that mount is tilted down. That is to give this rod more than give it about 3/4 of an inch play. You know about all the trouble I had in previous videos of getting the transmission to be accepted by the car body. These are really tough little cars. I'm telling you, they're stout and strong. They had their act together in some ways, in other ways it wasn't, you know, up to snuff. But back 50 years ago, I guess it would be. I found, someone says you cut the fender wells. Well, yeah, it is a very stout car. I'm not diminishing the capacity of it in any way, shape, or form. There's additional supports down below, and also some new chassis rails on the other side. So she's been tightened up very nicely. Okay. Back up. Here's all my tools and stuff. I was out here working this morning. So she's ready to receive it. I had to drop the front sway bar down because I got to bring the engine down, tilt it at an angle, take it back over the cross member back there. This is an anti-roll bar built in the body for stiffness. Some guys cut them out. I leave them in. Goes right above that, clears my drive shaft. And then once the tail shaft of the transmission clears that cross member, I can push it back, lower it down, and put the bolts in the motor mounts. Then I go back in the back and I readjust the back, putting in the cross member, the rear transmission mount, and get it bolted down. And we have an engine. Brittany has her new heart. Tomorrow in the morning I got to get down in here and do some work in the heater box and get it painted and cleaned up. Now's the time to do it when I can stand right here and not be leaning over the car. We left the fenders out on purpose so we can, the header collector comes down, we can, and the pipes move around and all that. I couldn't get a true fender well header that I could find in. I found them in stainless that I could adapt, but I don't have anybody that can weld stainless, and why pay somebody for something you can do yourself? So I went to Jags. Jags still had a black steel set of LS huggers, so for about $260 I'll have my headers cut, welded up with new tubes on them. We're just extending the tubes over and dropping the collector straight down. and giving it a little bit of room to move away from the tire and away from the brake line. It's a win-win-win. So that's what all this work ended up being. This morning on the other video I said I did it wrong. I should have come back here and uncovered the steering wheel to check it. I had the steering wheel upside down. So to fix it, I had to unbolt everything I bolted together on camera. Take the bolts out, pull this bolt out, slide this down. Okay, let me get a better view of it. I had to slide this down. Okay, then I had to spin the steering wheel around to where it's supposed to be, 180 degrees. So the top of the wheel is the top, and then this slid right back up in it. Everything's still in alignment. And then I just tapped it slowly up until it hit right there, pinned it, and put in the new bolts and stuff down here. I got my clearance for the oil pan. The pulley sits up here. And actually, since I slid this forward a half an inch, I actually lowered it a little bit, so it even made it nicer. But that's the maximum I could go, and still have maybe an eighth. Yeah, it looks like about an eighth clearance. And she's been rust proofed and set all the way back. I gotta just spray some black in there and cover up that overspray just a tad. You're not gonna see it anyway once the bell housing's in there because it fills it up. The issue on this one, and the fun part of it is the bell housing was 18¼ inches across. The valve body is 18½ inches across. So I took 1 inch from the driver's side transmission tunnel and 2 inches from the passengers, and right up in the front there's this little stamped wrong half a ball looking metal thing. MG was good for that stuff. I cut it out and it opened up my throttle pedal, so it's easy to put your foot on it. You don't have that ball sticking out, that would be convexed metal right there up against the pedal. It's straight, so it's easy to put your foot on the pedals now. So one thing led to another. Everything dropped in. Everything was set. Here's Miss Gabby. She heard something. She wants to let everybody know she's on duty. I got to get her on camera one day when she's running her Zoomy act. She'll turn the corner so fast and running, she's almost running sideways. Every once in a while her back feet will kick out and she'll go rolling out through the yard. Then she gets up and looks around to look like, I can't believe I did that. And there's Miss Macy. She's just out here doing her puppy stuffs. She's older, so she comes out when she wants to. I get her out every morning in a little bit, and she'll be wanting to go back in the house here in a little bit. She'll be sitting on the steps or comes in the garage. Miss Gabby comes straight in the shop. She ain't messing around. She's gonna come in here and get a hold of me and let me know she's hot and thirsty and she wants in the house. Well, she's gonna go up here and bark and tell mommy that I'm being mean to her. So it's a little over 45 days of banging my head against the wall to finally get that done. Someone says, what'd you use the LS mock-up for so many times? That right there had been in and out of that vehicle 30 times. I got the transmission tunnel. I just got mad and cut both sides of it open. So, because with my shoulder replacement, getting down and getting up is really hard to do. So every time I did something, I had to get down and crawl under the car and look. I had to get back out and go up and do adjustment and crawl back down. After about 12 of those, I'm done for the entire day. So I just cut it open, so I just walk around and look in. Best thing I ever did. I put the transmission in and put it on his cross member and his mount, and put a jack stand and everything under the front, and a support jack for safety. And I could take it out, pop it in, throw the nuts and a couple nuts and bolts on it, draw them together like they're bolted together, and put a spacer underneath the front of this, because it won't support the weight of the transmission, but it'll hang there. There's nothing to it. And I could get my measurements from my motor mounts. That's when I found out how extremely tight it was. I was going to have to shift the mount points. So that led to going down and talking to metal supermarkets and getting myself a piece of hardened steel, 1/4 inch thick steel plate. Hardened steel plate, or however they say it. I know it was hardened because it ate up 2 zip cut discs to cut through it. It would trash one blade out, and then it would have the other one just about to the point that it was already halfway worn. I'm not going to have to worry about the plates flexing once they're torqued on the side of the block. The original idea was to have them up here, but I needed a smaller tube for the bushings like this I have, and I could not find a tube anywhere. So I bought a scrap piece of tube for $5.32 out of their cut-off bin. And I had these inserts out of a different motor mount that I bought and couldn't use. So I popped them all apart. They fit in here. That's a 1/2 by 1 by 1/2 C channel, welded against here, and then welded all the way around against the plate. And then when it was all said and done, it painted it and just popped the bushings and put the center in it. Can't beat that with stick. Well, my next MG build, I'm going to have it right there. Now, you can see how this one sits. Now, the other one, because the angle I showed you, okay, see it? It sits at an angle. That's because the steering rod goes right alongside of it. So Jimmy's coming over today. I'm going to have him pick these. I'm going to pop the mounts out of them, let him see them, and he's going to have to fix the drill pattern on the holes because I can't put all 4 bolts in. I need them. And when he gets that back to me sometime on Sunday or Monday morning, I'm supposed to get my new oil pan, and we'll button it up. Well, hi, Miss Macy. She's having a good time right now. She'll be back in here in a minute, and she'll start bugging me to. She won't stay on that hot blacktop long. She stays in the shadow. She's a smart puppy. She's just hanging out right now. Get a little fresh air. Because of her age, she's 12 years old. I need to take her in the house here before it gets much hotter. It's like 82, 83 degrees in the shade. It's close to 90 in here because I don't have any ventilation. I had to shut my fans off because of the GoPro picks up that noise. It sounds like I got an airplane in the background. I actually went over to Advance and went to get the O-ring for the pickup tube, just in case they don't have the right one in the pan kit when it gets here Monday. I figured I had to order it. They had it in stock. Impressive. I just can't wait, because once the engine's put together, 80% of this stuff I'm looking at everywhere will be bolted together on one unit on the floor, and then I can start cleaning up. Mother says by 1st of July she wants this thing cleaned out and swept out so I can roll the beast inside. She wants me working inside under the fans, which is a good idea, it really is. We just did so much welding and cutting and messing and building components to go on the car. It was easy to do it this way. Because, like I was telling you, the heater box is over there done. The pedal box is in the trunk done. The engine's here on the stand. I'm just waiting for I got to correct the drill. Get see this? They're supposed to come straight down. I don't know if they sent me the wrong pan or I ordered the wrong pan, but I had it for well over 30 days, so they're not gonna honor it. So it'll be used for something. If nothing else, I'll hang it on the freaking wall to remind myself not to get ahead of myself when I'm ordering. Because I try to order a few parts, so I'm already looking at parts for the rear end. I haven't even taken the other one out yet because I want to start collecting them. Because I know what I'm going to need. I need to pull the brake drums off and inspect it. It's got to be cleaned. I got to check wheel cylinders. I got one that's got a bad bleeder in it. I don't know if it's going to have to be drilled out and replaced or just replace the entire wheel cylinder. I've got some stuff to do to it. I got to check and look at the drums to see if they're good. I really want to see if we got some really great shoes back here. If not, I'm going to throw a new pair of shoes on it. A new hardware kit, get it cleaned up. Because see, some of that work can be done when it's on the car. But I do certain things I have to do. And one of them is I got to take the rear end out of the car. And I got to take this rear end and put them side by side. And I'll primer this rear end so I can start making measurements and marks on the GM Positraction unit about mounting plates, saddle brackets, shock mounts, the list goes on and on. Anti-sway bar mount, I'm probably going to end up cutting and fabricating that so I can put everything back up underneath the car. I got to soak it again in the morning. I'm not going to go out there on a hot blacktop right now and lay there and squirt looby-doob on everything again. I put my puppy pad down to protect the asphalt driveway and just soak them down. She's ready. No nonsense about it. She is ready. Here, mother coming back. She probably had run over. We've got an 86-year-old ex-neighbor in our old neighborhood. Her husband passed away. She is here from the UK, from England. Got a hell of an accent. Sweet, dear lady. Has no family here. And we just found out she's got cancer. We've been taking her to the doctors and everything. And she says she's lived a good life. She's not going to spend the last 2 or 3 years she's got left being sick and losing her hair. She told the doctor thanks, no thanks, got up and walked out. I mean, one stubborn lady. I can understand her feelings, to each of their own. Her son and her daughter-in-law are making arrangements to bring her home. They're getting a place set for her. They're going to fly over and fly back with her because her treatments over there as a citizen, which she is 100% paid for versus out of pocket, all that stuff we do here. And she says she wants to be with her family when she passes. I got a lot of respect for the lady. So my wife's going over in this heat twice a week and just dropping in on her to make sure she's cool, the house isn't overheated, everything is good to go. She's got groceries, she's got medicine, anything she needs we bring into her. I go over and mow her grass regardless how hot it is. When she wants it mowed, she doesn't take no for an answer. And she always tells me, she says, I'll give you a shot and a pint if you drink warm beer and like whiskey without not on ice. I said, no thanks, I'm fine. That's all I need in hot weather to chug that down. So reach out and help somebody. That's just what it's all about. What we're doing here finally is coming about. We got some fitment to do. I got some tie rod ends and the bellows or the boots, depending on which side of the pond you're on. I want to replace those while the front fenders and the front valence is off. It'll make it so much easier, especially if they get to be stubborn as hell. And I'll get that done. And while I'm waiting for those parts here shortly, once the engine and stuff's in, I'm going to start cutting on camera here. Watch me. I'll be cutting the exhaust tube extensions for the headers to go through the fender wells. And I'll get it tack welded up and everything in place. I got to avoid brake lines in the tire. The tire gets a 2-inch spacer to push it out. It's 2 inches deeper on the bolt side. When you put the nuts on it, as you're looking at the wheel, but it's the same distance from the backer plate to the back of the tire as the 5-inch tires are that came on the MG. So I get wider tires. Okay, more rubber on the ground, which the car definitely will need, and it'll give me additional clearance to keep the exhaust away from the tires and the brake line. It gives me a little bit more room. You'll actually see it. I'll put the camera up as we're doing the adjustment on it with the brake line and everything, so you could excuse me. I don't know what's worse, the pollen, the pollution, or the temperature. I think one of them just went in the house. Mommy, let's let Miss... No, she didn't. Here she comes. So that's about it, people. I'm going to call today. Here's the shop puppies to say hello. Like, subscribe, and get your build on, people. And we will get back to you on this build.